Hi guys, Action 007 Cinema here. Warning, spoilers ahead. Today, I'm going to recap a 2021 American action crime movie called Nobody. This movie is about a family man who tries to cover up his past as a state assassin. His life was fine, although it was quite boring, until one day a pair of thieves broke into his house and made him dig up his past as an assassin. Well, how far will he go? Let's find out together. The story begins with Hutch Mansell's monotonous routine, which is only filled with his work as an accountant for a welding iron factory and takes care of his house, as his wife's career pays much better than his. Everything goes very normal and mundane. His daily life doesn't change. Until one unusual night, Hutch wakes up from his sleep as if he already feels that something odd is about to happen to his family. He goes downstairs to confirm his suspicions and finds out that two thieves have secretly entered his house. Hutch doesn't look nervous at all. He tries to observe his enemy and finds out that they are just unprofessional robbers. After that, he prepares to attack them with the golf stick while trying to call 911. He just tries to act to not wake his family up. Unfortunately, the robber realizes Hutch's intention. They prevent him from making the call. The female robber points a gun to Hutch's head, which doesn't really scare him. He slightly sees the thief's tattoo. After that, the male robber asks to hand over Hutch's valuables, and the thieves immediately try to leave the house. When they want to leave the house, one of the robbers is surprised by Hutch's sons lunging from the stairs. He creates an opportunity for his father to attack the other thief, who isn't very good at using a gun. But when Hutch intends to hit the thief, he finds out that their gun doesn't have any bullets. Hutch realizes that these thieves have no intention of killing them and tells his son to immediately release his choke. At that time, his son does not understand why his father tells him to let go of the thieves. He only thinks that his father is a coward who does not dare to protect his family. Even the police, who come to his house to receive a report from the victim, feel that Hutch could finish off the thieves without making his family worry. But they all just judge Hutch without knowing the reason for his actions. The night has passed. There is no improvement in the Hutch's family's judgment. Even his neighbors and brother-in-law think Hutch is a coward. He is fed up with the circumstances around him. He just wants to distract himself by chit-chatting with his brother through the radio and pays a visit to his father in the nursing house. There is no special conversation. His two closest relatives totally understand Hutch's mature decision. When he arrives at home, he is reminded of his guilt when his daughter lost her favorite bracelet after the robbery last night. Hutch, who can't take it anymore, decides to revisit his father at the nursing home. He takes his father's gun, who is a former FBI agent, and begins to gather information from every tattoo artist all over the town about the identity of the tattoo owner that he saw on the thief's hand earlier. After getting some information about the thief, he goes directly to their house. But he can't bear to take his revenge on the thieves when he finds out that they must steal to pay the cost of their baby's treatment. Hutch leaves with anger. He is very angry because another reason makes him unable to take revenge. On his way home, he meets a group of drunken Russian gangsters. For some reason, he isn't afraid at all of their presence. He feels like God is giving him a bunch of stupid thugs to vent his anger off on them. The fight ensues after Hutch locks the bus door so they can't escape his fists. Even though he is thrown out of the bus window, he doesn't intend to stop venting his anger at the gift from God. He wins the fight and comes home without any regret. On the other side, the story shifts to Yulian Kuznetsov, a Russian powerful crime lord who launders money for all the Russian gangsters in America. After finishing his work, Yulian is surprised with the incoming call, which says that his brother is in a bad state in the hospital. Even though they have a bad relationship, Yulian still pays a visit to his brother. When Yulian knows that the one who beats his younger brother and his men is only a middle-aged man, he becomes even more emotional and starts looking for information about Hutch through the debit card he left for their medical expenses. At the same time, Hutch, who still doesn't know about the people he is messing with, is still enjoying dinner with his family. Until his brother tells him to be careful and quickly gather information about who he is dealing with. He decides to go to the barber, the Hutch family's trusted informant. After knowing the fact about Yulian, Hutch doesn't think that Julian is that stupid to avenge his brother, so he just continues his activity with his family. Unlike Hutch, Julian is shocked when he knows that Hutch is a former professional assassin who used to kill corrupt Secret Services members such as the CIA and FBI. He doesn't want to underestimate his enemy at all. He tells his men to immediately finish off Hutch with full weapons. At the same time, Hutch, who still enjoys his time with his family, suddenly feels something is odd. He checks the situation around and finds his house is almost surrounded by Julian's men. Hutch, who realizes the danger, tells his family to immediately take shelter in the bunker-like basement floor that he has designed, without his family knowing. It doesn't take long for the gangsters to enter Hutch's house. But Hutch, who is ready to face them, doesn't need a long time to finish them off one by one. Even though Hutch doesn't have any gun, his experience as an assassin is very useful. But in the middle of his fight, he slightly lets his guard off and is caught by the enemy. However, Julian, who plans to bring Hutch alive, must have failed, cause he manages to finish off the rest of Julian's men from the car that took him. He rushes back home to get his family out and warn his father of the danger that may come because of his actions. His wife and son are quite surprised by the state of their house, which is full of corpses and weapons. Even more, their father, who they judge as a coward, is actually a badass. Hutch realizes that he can't explain his situation before he finishes what he started and decides to send his family away temporarily. After receiving Hutch's warning, his father prepares to welcome his uninvited guests. As a result, 2 of Julian's men who were sent to kill Hutch's father ended up with 2 shotgun bullets, each lodged in their bodies. It's pretty crazy when you see an old man who looks frail, then turns out loving to play with his little shotgun. The story shifts back to Hutch. He buys the whole iron factory where he works and turns the entire factory into his war zone, which is full of deadly traps. Even though it takes a lot of effort, it looks like Hutch manages to finish his battle preparations in time. Julian, who realizes that Hutch can't be dealt with easily, this time really tells his men to use all their remaining strength. In this situation, Hutch realizes that he needs to draw his enemy's attention to make his trap work. He provokes Julian's wrath by approaching the warehouse where he is laundering money and burns all the money in it. Hutch's experience as an assassin for years makes him undaunted to enter the place, which is full of armed Russian gangsters. Hutch's madness doesn't end there. For him, burning all of Julian's money is just an appetizer. After setting fire to the place, he comes over to Julian, who is entertaining the other gangsters without knowing what has happened to his money. Julian, who is aware of Hutch's presence, tries to remain calm because he doesn't want to lose face in front of the guests and his men. On the other side, Julian is also confused about whether Hutch is really stupid or really brave because he comes to the enemy's base by himself. Julian also approaches Hutch and asks for his purpose. Hutch, who's still enjoying the dish he ordered, finally threatens Julian with the grenade he has brought so he can have a one-on-one conversation with Julian. He wants to offer Julian peace because Hutch feels that they both already suffer quite a loss. But Hutch actually doesn't intend to offer peace because he knows that Julian, who has high self-esteem, is going to refuse his offer. He just tries to make Julian more emotional and falls into his trap. His plan succeeds. He manages to lure Julian and his men out of their base. Despite being shot on the street, Hutch manages to arrive at the factory. But unexpectedly, it turns out that his father and brother are waiting for him at the factory to join the party to kill the Russian thugs he brings. Julian and his subordinates are not aware of Hutch's trap. One by one, the traps set up by Hutch begin to finish off Julian's men. The atmosphere of the factory that night instantly turns into a battlefield that Hutch and his family are accustomed to. His old father doesn't look scared at all. He really misses the sensation of killing his enemy with his favorite shotgun. The sheer number of Julian's troops is completely meaningless in the face of 3 assassins who hide their identities for years. By the time Julian loses his entire army, he manages to shoot Hutch's brother. At that time, Julian is very confident of being able to defeat these 3 crazy assassins, pelting them with a hail of bullets. However, Hutch, who already wants to end this battle, decides to use his ultimate weapon. He runs with a grenade towards Yulian and takes cover using bulletproof glass, and the story ends with a group of Russian gangsters who died in the hands of 3 assassins. Well, that's how the story ends. Although Yulian's gangsters are not completely wrong, we just never know what kind of enemy we will face. Sometimes, it's important to be wise in determining your steps in war. What do you think of Hutchie's deed? Let us know what you think in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you for watching, and as always, see you next time.